cover horror topics in horror games, but I am not as fluent in finding the truly hidden gems at times, and that's where my lovely roommate Kaylee comes in. See, I was telling her of my plans for videos when she suddenly suggested a game and its concept that sounded as strange could be. It also made me question where she could even find such an odd treasure. Forgive the very strange intro, but it works for such a strange game. Hi, I'm Synn and welcome to Horror and Chill, the lovely online web series where I talk about a horror-related topic and the vibes are chill. Tonight's topic? I live under your house. I typically consider my intros a decent way to preface what's to come, a pleasant dip in the waters before diving into the deep end that is typically the actual meat of the video. However, today I had to introduce us with a sad and disappointed note. I wrote this whole script and had done the thumbnail before learning that the developer had used AI art for this game's major first part. While he had mentioned it was hand-processed afterwards, you can gather how disappointed I was. Nowhere on the game page on Steam or in the game does it say they had used AI art. The usage of AI art is the most unimpressive part of the game and incredibly disheartening. I am an artist myself, so I view AI art as very vile in both its nature and its outputs, and I cast a harsh judgment onto those who do use it. As it seems, the creator appears to be making new games with little or no AI art. I haven't played their new games, so I can't give a solid answer on that. It's incredibly disappointing and ruins a large part of the experience of the game. They had clarified that the visuals of the story section of the game were created using AI art, but everything else was not. This is a minor savior for the game, as the storytelling and music were very good, along with the actual exploration of the game. I'd say if the developer continues improvements to be better in the future and stops using AI art, I would check out their future games. I just have to stress to them to not use AI art in their new creations and take this as a learning moment rather than a detrimental attack on their game creation career. I don't want to shut them down just for using AI art this time. I just want for their newer projects to reflect their own skills and abilities rather than a robot using stolen work from other artists. Most of all, I have to say, do not harass or send any bad vibes this person's way. Let them grow and improve in their game career, and while I find this to be a very bad thing, I'd still give them a chance to rectify it, as I view my criticisms as still something very easy to fix. Just don't do it. That's all. Now into the actual video. Yippee! I Live Under Your House is a game created and published by Spookle McBoogle, released on October 31st of 2022. You play as a monster living underneath a woman's house. As the Steam page says, it's a story of madness, loneliness, cruelty, and love. As someone who has a soft spot for horror romances, I was vaguely invested when my roommate brought it up to me. The game is $1.99 on Steam with a DLC for only 99 cents, and we get a little over 2 hours of gameplay out of it. It's a point-and-click adventure, and it certainly has a lot of character for such a small and simple game. The game opens with us waking up within a hole, and to our strange, monstrous main character declaring here he is, home again, and that it's a wondrous feeling. He speaks of how no one is around, and that it's a good thing, that he likes being alone. He enters a grand hall and expresses his pride and joy due to him making all of these holes, and that he doesn't know which to venture into today. We have 4 options to explore, 3 down and 1 forward. We can investigate this being's sleeping quarters, but he remarks that he could sleep anywhere. He just likes sleeping here. If you try to sleep before exploring the other areas, he'll remark that he's so tired but he can't sleep yet. Next is his pebble space, a space in which he keeps pebbles. Wow, never would have guessed that. He talks about the pebbles like a rare gem. He speaks of how he coddles them and caresses them with such care, that this is such a joy to him that he even dreams of it. And the dreams are so vivid he also mistakes them for reality. So, this guy really likes pebbles. We finally see his glorious array of many pebbles, and we can inspect one. He remarks that this one is sharp enough to cut through someone's belly and how grand that is. Alright. So, one of the last holes we go to brings us this very showing piece of dialogue. The creature indulges himself in rambling about how every tunnel is different. This one is narrow, and it causes him to move slowly to get through it, but he speaks about it with exhilaration, saying that he loves this feeling. This feeling is claustrophobia, almost like a strange, intimate affliction. For this next part, I'd like to recall the viewer discretion at the beginning of the video again, because while the game doesn't include anything Lord YouTube would smite me for, it does certainly show a strange and warped imagery that can be unsettling and or uncomfortable to some. If you'd like to skip over the imagery, I'll put the timestamp on screen here. We enter this large hole with a strange cocoon laying in the midst of it, spindly roots seemingly growing from the cocoon reaching into nothing. We soon learn that this cocoon isn't even really a cocoon. Inside is his quote-unquote creator. He remarks that she died when he was born, or so it seemed. It's the result of a paralyzed woman's body slowly scarring over itself as she was eaten alive by her spawn. The cocoon remained until she died inside of it, and he laments about speaking to her. There's only one part of this game where we almost get an idea of what the monster behind the game looks like. Even so, there's no distinct imagery to display what he could look like. So knowing that this woman was his creator and he never knew his father, we can only imagine what kind of disfigured creature it could be. The Mole Man, as my roommates and I dubbed him, can investigate the last hole. This is where he says that this is the hole to the outside. He says that he rarely goes outside and that a spirit is always there, that he doesn't enjoy speaking with him. You go back to your sleeping place, and the next day you are awoken by the loud noises of construction. The monster curses in frustration and crawls out to the outside, though before he can do that, we come across the very thing we wanted to avoid. We meet the spirit, who seems to have been expecting us. It dismisses our feelings of not wanting to go outside, instead insisting that we may be under attack to some degree, and imploring us to go upside and take a look. When we do, we witness the construction of a home. We also witness 2 construction workers. When we get an urge that we can either choose to indulge or spare the construction workers. I chose to spare, and we continue on with our journey. We wait until the house is finished building, in which we learn it is inhabited by a woman. We decide to attack her, and we end up going through the window, which brings us to the first actual part of the game where we get to move freely. The world is bathed in a mixture of green and red, and we scuttle around the ground like an animal. My roommates and I had a fun time making guesses as to how the creature moved, how he could crawl or scuttle, if he was humanoid or truly a disfigured beast. Our main character mentions that this is his first time that he's been in a human home, and that he doesn't like how spacious it is. You can express interest in a book on the ground in the television set. Investigating the book reveals that the Mole Man has eaten a human child before, and took his book so that he could understand the language of humans just a little bit. When investigating the bathroom, we learn that the Mole Man is afraid of the loud noises of the toilet. And in the room across from it, we can find stacks of boxes. He remarks about seeing people lug the boxes into the house. Then finally, we reach the last room. Within the last room is the woman he has been speaking of. She lays upon her bed without a cover, which seems unappealing and cold to me, but go off, sis. He seems to shift, stating his mood is not the same as before, that he lacks the same unbearable restraint he felt earlier. He decides to keep tabs on her, and gives her the nickname Birdie. Returning to the cave system, the Mole Man begins to reflect on himself. He ponders as to why he couldn't kill her. Tracing over his feelings, he mentions that the noises she makes doesn't seem to disgust him, that he actually takes interest into what she's doing, pondering over it, over this newfound feeling. He states he's never felt this way before towards another living creature, and he begins to feel the urge to bring her one of his finest skulls, wondering what is happening to him. We return to the woman's house, and we can now investigate a pile of her laundry. In this run, I took her dress, which gave me the good ending. If you don't take the dress, the ending will be affected by it. After taking the dress, we can explore the other room. The room is more unpacked now, with a piece of newspaper on the desk. We can inspect it, and while the monster muses that she reads as much as he does, he also makes the important note of the fact that she circles things in highlighter. He also says that there is a page with a headless body on it, one that looks suspiciously familiar to him. This adds to something a little more important, so we'll see very soon. The bathroom door is shut this time around, so we merely leave a body at her bedroom door and head back through our window. The game's choice of having this strange mixture of teals, greens, and reds for this woman's house brings an odd feeling of both comfort and uneasiness that really sells the idea that we are not meant to be here. It also gives us this idea that because the monster lives underground, his vision is warped to some degree. He returns to the spirit, who remarks that something has changed in him. The mole man retorts that nothing has changed, that he prefers being alone, yet the spirit continues to cackle and mock him, and it causes him to lash out, stating that he'll go back to her house and wait in her bedroom, then he'll bring her back and prove it wrong. The spirit laughs and says he's changed. Then we return to the woman's home. Everything's sealed except for her bedroom door, which is wide open. As we approach, you get the sense that something is wrong. You start to read a note upon the bed addressed to someone named Mark, to which the mole man seems equally as confused as we are. The note apparently is telling Mark to remember to bring the candles on the nightstand for something, but the monster can't understand the words. Then the world goes black. We can only hear two voices, a woman named Marie and a man named Mark. They bicker and Marie asks if they should dismember it, in reference to our main character. When we wake up, we find ourselves in a basement. We decide we just want to go home, and crawl up the stairs and out the front door. When we escape the house, we follow a glowing light. It leads us to a campsite, where through earlier dialogues we learn it's the same campsite that the mole man had attacked. Then we approach a tree, and depending on if you got the dress or not, the dress will be hanging off of it. A third glow reveals a backpack upon the ground, the backpack of the little kid from earlier. Then the final glow comes from afar. As you approach it, you notice a glowing salt sigil on the ground. When you enter it, your body grows weak and you collapse. When you awake, you find yourself at the foot of two humans, Marie and Mark. They bicker and Marie ends up calling us ugly, to which we are deeply hurt by or unfazed by depending on the route you take. The two continue, and in the end they realize they forgot a key part of the ritual: candles. Indifferently from your choices, you charge at Marie, and then it fades to whatever ending you get. Sadly, there is not an ending where Marie lives happily ever after. In the three possible outcomes, Marie ends up dying one way or another. The first technical good ending starts with the mole man killing Marie. He ends up falling into a deep depression, to which our mole man passes away lying beside his creator, turning into another strange cocoon creature. The quote-unquote bad ending is one where Mole Man ends up going on a craze, killing Marie and deciding to continue killing, taking as many lives in his wake as possible, and expanding a large skull cave that he has. He goes insane and becomes a truly horrific monster, or one that was far worse than when we first met him. The true ending is pursued in the DLC as the one where he takes Marie and decides to move into her home, describing how he decorates his new home, and at the end of his long monologue he explains that he'll have to take Marie into the caverns soon, because they're expecting. Ew, I'm sorry. I just hate those kinds of endings. They feel incredibly vile to me in a special way. Now, before we go on and talk about the DLC, here's some lovely moments from when I played the game with my roommates.
I just love
Slay.
verbal statement. Slay.
I enjoy reading.
After
murder.
After murder. After eating people, I love to sit down in my hole with my rocks and my book.
And my dead mother's cocoon.
I light reading. I love lightly reading.
But how does he see in the dark? I guess because he's a mole.
I guess.
But he also has like perfect vision for up above.
We don't know what this creature is. Maybe he's like the perfect creature to survive. I mean, I don't know. Clearly. No, I mean like the perfect creature. Like you know how the predator's whole thing is to evolve to be like the peak thing. What if he's already the peak thing?
Why couldn't I kill her? And all the sounds she makes now don't seem to
Oh no, he fell in love.
Oh no.
Okay, I kind of eat this shit up, so I'm the worst person for this. I love monster romance.
I don't even want to know what this thing looks like. In my head, I mean,
it could be okay.
I mean, it's some weird AU. There's probably some 12-year-old that's watching this, and you know how they take Jeff the Killer and make him a femboy twink anime person? Someone might have done that to this man, and he's just some anime character living in a hole. But the way I'm thinking of him is that he probably looks like Moreau from Resident Evil.
That lake creature! I was thinking the same thing!
Like, he's probably so nasty, quite honestly.
I'm like the worst person for this, because I'm like, oh, they should fall in love.
I kinda eat this. Let him cook!
Because I always end up somehow making myself sympathize with them. I'm like, but like...
your Delulu's coming out.
Shut up! Yeah, the Delulu in me is fucking consuming this. Pile of laundry. I could smell it as soon as I entered the room. That smell, it holds your breath. I've never smelled anything like it before. Maybe I should... Oh. Oh. Where could she have gone at this hour? I have to leave what I brought for her and hurry back to the window in case she comes soon.
Oh,
damn!
Corpse.
That's a whole ass body.
He just laid on the
Okay,
ground.
so this is just feeding my whole idea that this
I
man
just-
is a whole grown man. Because if this is like some fucking gerbil critter gremlin looking motherfucker who crawl up here, it's like, my precious. Leaving that, he'd be dragging his whole body weight and more.
That, and also, though, I just like to think as he's laying it down, he just lays it down. Good night.
You'll impress my lover.
Yes. No. Dude,
Yeah.
dude, if he got into weird protective boyfriend mode, where could she use his power? Why is she outside?
Aw, snap! Here you are, back again, but something has changed in you. Nothing has changed in me. Everything is the same as before. Is it? I thought you liked being alone. It is, and I will always be alone. I'm emo.
Tonight will be the
Tonight that I will fall for you. What if he looks like this? Do you think that that's like his spiritual dad?
I don't know, maybe.
Like his dad spirit state
Maybe
here?
it's a Fred thing. Maybe he thought this is his John Cena.
Yeah,
This is
maybe.
his John Cena.
This is his John Cena. Ew.
Alright, continuing off from that on to the DLC. For a change, this game is very exploratory. You are put into a world by a car and you decide to explore this seemingly abandoned home, choosing to see if anyone is home. Now, you can actually just turn tail and leave, so, you know, that's always a great way to end things. Just be smart and don't mess with random houses that aren't yours when something is very clearly wrong. We explore the house that has very colorful decorations. In fact, I think they're so colorful YouTube wouldn't want me to show all of them, so just imagine a lovely little house with lovely little decorations set up by a monster who eats people and has no idea of actual design and decor. Or as my roommate would call it, decor. We find Marie's home completely and utterly desecrated, covered in blood without any sign of her anywhere. It feels like it's not too far off from when the first game began, at max a week or a week and a half. The box of candles is still on her nightstand, though the TV has been replaced by something I'm not going to show on YouTube. Venturing into the basement, we find an entrance to a grand hall. This is where the unnerving and horror aspect of the game come in. You enter a hole, and you enter an even smaller hole. As you crawl through the space, you can feel your own nerves raise slowly over time, waiting for the moment when you'll see something come out of the darkness, or feel yourself get pulled back by the mole man. This paranoia-filled fear edges you on as you press deeper into the hole. You reach an even smaller section of the hole, and our character says he can fit if he puts the flashlight in his mouth and wiggles his body like a worm, which we do. This part was the scariest for my roommates and I, the feeling that any moment we could be trapped or the mole man was going to get us on the other end of the hole. Our entire reaction to that scene was, well, here, I can just show you.
Oh god, oh, I don't like
Press spacebar.
this. We're worming, kids! My arms are clasped at my sides. The only thing left to do is push myself with my feet. Bitch, you got stuck in here.
That is like actually so scary. I mean, granted, I wouldn't have gone in that house anyway.
Damn it, it's getting harder and harder to believe that I don't have a choice anymore. I have to move forward.
But then you're gonna have
For
to
the
go
fucking
back.
mole
You're gonna have to
man?
go back through it.
Yeah. I'm stuck, I can't move. I'm definitely stuck. Fuck. I don't want to die in some hole. I need to pull myself together. If I can push all the air out of my lungs, I can get through.
Where'd he go?
I have one last push left and I'll get out of here. Come on, exhale. Yeah!
No, imagine when you have to run and you have to go back through that.
This is preying on a very specific fear that I don't think horror ever talks about, and it's actually kind of cool.
What's the fear?
Being claustrophobia in a hole. You know how miners go in like those intense deep dives into like the narrowest of cracks of places?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
that's a fear.
Yeah, it's this, and it's a weird mix of like that, and then like you're stuck in there with something. Because I feel like I feel like
you can't do nothing about it.
Because like the claustrophobia, it does hinder on like, but it doesn't hinder on like other things being there. It just hinders to the fact that you can't move or like you're stuck in a certain area. But imagine it's that on top of you're stuck
with something
else.
As you press further into the cave, we encounter a totem with spirits scrawled into it. Which is when I paused and was like, oh, it's a cult story, isn't it? But it also gives us context as to why the mole man was seeing a spirit whenever he was trying to leave the first game. It was meant to keep him concealed and inside the caverns with its relentless bullying and judgment. Continuing on, we can find the mole man's pebble pit, his resting area, but no sign of his cocoon anywhere. We can descend deeper though, not like we can go back anyways. Our first venture in becoming a worm sealed the rocks behind us once we passed through. As we go deeper, our main character remarks of how this place feels magical, that he feels like he's crossing the border into the afterlife, something he compares to when he was a kid going into abandoned buildings, specifically a hospital, one other teenagers were known for traversing, a spot so simply everyone could smoke and watch the stars, though he always chose to be in the basement, turning off his flashlight just to be in the darkness. Though one day, when he was in the basement, a part of the building collapsed. While he came out alright from being in the basement, the teenagers that had been on the roof all died. This strange feeling of being just on the brink of death, it appears to be a feeling he chases. He notes it's why he became a police officer, to get the edge of that adrenaline high all the time. We keep going and eventually find an even smaller area of space within the rocks. Like the most silly creature to ever exist, we decide, after some further investigation of nothing but rocks, to proceed into said narrow space. We start to wiggle and crawl between the rocks, all while reminding ourselves to stay calm, that the key is to not panic. Rocks begin to shift and we scream out in pain. Oh great, this is just swell. I'm having such a fun little time. I love being part of the rocks. Don't you love being part of the rocks? I love being part of the rocks. Yay. Rocks. Our main character remarks that he can only hope that his leg isn't broken. Noting that his other leg isn't broken, he gets the idea of pushing off with it, which does not go well for him. This now brings us to the most dreadful aspect of the game. We get stuck. The worst fear that can be encapsulated in this kind of game, though often underutilized. This sort of fear is only played up when you realize that the idea that the mole man or whatever he may be could be very well down here with you, that just adds to the overall fear that can spawn from this. Now you're trapped, injured, vulnerable, without anywhere to truly go, helpless prey in a trap for a being we can't see. We start to cry for help. It's meek at first, almost like we're questioning why we're calling out for help. No one is down here. No one can save us. We're alone here. But we can keep calling for help. 5 hours pass and we get a small passing of a backstory for our main character, lamenting about how he had uninteresting cases that paid very little. So he was a private investigator of sorts, when he was approached by a man, this construction worker from the first game that doesn't die if you do attack them, since the mole man remarks he can only take down one, not both. So the worker asks us to find his friend. After a reminder as to why we're here, our character is suddenly revitalized. He starts pushing himself as hard as he can through the rocks, and with enough pushing, he does it. Good for him. Though I was still paranoid that if I turned around, I'd see the mole man there in the rocks with us. We continued pressing on through the holes, and the music shift really started to get to my roommates and I.
See mole man. Seems to be working. I'll be free! Yay! It worked. Oh, I thought something
crashed. I thought it crashed.
I thought something grabbed him, was about to pull him back. I was like, no, mole man, please! It works if you feel the ground beneath my feet.
Oh.
Ground.
Did he not broke?
I guess
dude
not.
is a king. He didn't break his leg at all.
I guess he was like praying that his leg didn't break. Maybe it got dislocated.
And God listened.
God listened. I'm guessing his leg was just like dislocated because
probably.
the rock. Big rock.
No, Mo Man is seducing Maria.
We walked in on their mating ritual.
We did. Oh my god, God.
No!
What the fuck?
We finally break way into the outside, and just when we think we're in the clear,
Job.
Look behind you, do you see it? Oh, my god, I guess we just spawned.
Yeah.
What's that?
Fuck me.
What the fuck? Spotlight! Where's the
Spotlight.
fuck? This is a leg.
It's my leg. This is my leg. Fuck, I'm still here!
Oh my-
I'm still here! I'm still here!
He's going crazy. He's going insane. He never got out.
I'm back in the fucking
Does
building!
that mean that was fake? The achievement was fake?
No, we still got the achievement.
Okay.
yep, we never left the rocks. We're still there, stuck between them snugly without any way to escape. That was merely a fantasy, a desperate claw of our mind trying to salvage some form of comfort, some vague form of optimistic idealism as we sit pinched between the earth's fingers. We begin to curse over and over again. We rant to ourselves. My roommates and I had quite a few things to say about the scene.
Straighten up. I just want to get up. I just want to straighten my back. I want to bend my knee. Oh, how I want to bend my knee. My leg hurts so bad. I want to bend my knee. I hate everything. Get me out of here. Somebody get me out of here. Help me, somebody. Well, man.
I will not
I'm
be
heard.
I will not be heard.
I'm stuck. Shit.
Shit.
Why did I come in here? What did I want? Well, I wanted to help. I wanted to find this guide. That's all. Why didn't I call the police? Why didn't I leave? I wanted to be a hero. I wanted to be useful. Fuck heroes. Fuck them. Nobody needs heroes. Heroes get stuck in holes and die. I was going down into that dungeon like I was going into battle with a dragon. I was expecting a maniac here. I was expecting a horde of killers. I was ready to fight them. I was ready to defeat evil. This is what I had been taught. What I had been prepared for. Not this hole. Not this hole. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe that's what I wanted. Maybe I just wanted to die already because I was sick of everything. Maybe because I don't have a job? Because nobody needs me? No one needs me.
Okay.
This place needs me. This hole needs me.
Is it weird that he's getting the same mentality that the Mole Man got at the beginning of the first game? The mentality of like, I'm an idiot, I'm stuck here, I'm sick of everything.
I think he's
It's
getting
like
it
I wanted
for
to.
different reasons.
Maybe I just wanted to die already.
You're not saying this is gonna be the Mole Man,
No.
No,
I'm
that's
just
not the
saying.
Mole Man.
It's weird that he's like.
We know he was born here.
Yeah.
He was born and raised.
It's like born and raised in the South. No, born and raised in the hole.
I'm tired. I'm very tired. My eyes are closing. I must rest.
27 hours pass and we are greeted by a different voice. Not the Mole Man, something else. Whatever it is, it knows our main character's name, Nick. It speaks to us in an odd tone, dehumanizing us in small ways, along with saying it doesn't own wherever we are, that the true master of the house is away on quote-unquote family business. That of course they can help us, but they need something from us. To which, it tells us to bark for it.
I'll give anything. Just get me out of here. Anything? Bark for me. Damn!
Bark for me.
Bark for me. Okay.
Yeah, there's no proper way I could have described that. The scene continues on and it just somehow gets worse.
What? I thought you were stuck, not deaf. Bark. Bark for me. Doesn't want to get out of here. It has to bark.
Woof.
Louder. Woof. Woof woof.
Dude, she's fucking
This
humiliating.
is I guess she's gotten freaky. She's been with a mole man.
That's if this is Marie.
If it's not Marie, who the fuck is this?
I
Why are they
don't know.
asking Nick to bark for them?
One of the children that are grown now.
Oh my god. Woof woof. Louder, it should bark louder. Woof woof. Louder, bark, whine like a wounded animal, come on. Woof 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 woof. Ooh, what the fuck is that? Yes, bark, bark, and lose your name. From now on, you lose everything. You will have no past and no future. You will become a creature persecuted by perpetual hunger and loneliness, and you will serve us for 13 long years. In return, I will free you from these shackles of stone, but your flesh will belong to us. Remember, your flesh belongs to us.
We come to learn that Nick has become another mole man, though unlike the one that had been born in the caverns, he loathes his existence. He also has a different way of seeing the world around him. His vision is not the murky green world that the mole man's was. His is a peaceful palette of blue and white. He relishes in the touch of the cold air upon his skin, but he doesn't understand his thoughts. What were they? How did he know the words for them? He speaks of a hunger, one that wants him to kill the tenants of the house, yet he doesn't want to do that. He speaks of moments like this where he can still be within himself. He notes that they are about to go on a walk and that he doesn't want to kill them, that he just wants to stay in the snowy light just for one more minute. Alas, he understands that the hunger will kill him no matter what, that he'd rather not offend anyone if he only had a choice. The difference in a mole man that was born as what he is and whatever Nick became is like night and day. One being so content with itself, perhaps because it has really nothing to compare itself to, while Nick is in anguish. My theory is that a strange cult helps these odd mole creatures prosper. That people like Nick and Marie are just the unfortunate victims of the right idea at the wrong time. While Marie only wanted revenge for her father, Nick only wanted to do something good. They both now suffer, though one may not have suffered for as long. This game was incredibly fascinating. Though it has an obvious giant setback, the story was at least fascinating enough to keep you captivated through the playthrough. Of course, it is a mixture of point and click with actual 3D exploration, so if that's not your cup of tea, it wouldn't be too fun. The horror aspects were also well executed. The music was all created by the developer, and the sound design of the pieces fit the game very well. The music felt both fitting to the scenario, but also otherworldly, like a being who hadn't really heard music was trying to replicate it. That, and it was also generally unnerving, which led to great experiences like in the DLC when you're trapped with just the hole and the idea of something else being with you. Overall, the game clearly isn't grand because AI art is just a general ick, but the other parts were generally very good for what they were. I think this developer has grand promise, just that they should refrain from using AI art in the future. The idea of a mole man stalking a woman under her house is utterly unnerving and creepy, and the fact that the DLC actually plays upon the idea of being trapped within a hole is something you don't see often. The game was certainly an experience, but if you have a game you'd like me to talk about, let me know below and I'll be sure to check it out. That's all from me tonight. Remember to drink water, and good night.